Why, hello, good morning, and welcome to Bill Riccardi's Weekly Patreon Update. I, of course, am Bill Riccardi, a creator and purveyor of fantasy novels. What do we got going this week? The second book of the Blackstaff siblings is done. The beta draft of A Falconer's Guide to Dying is going to be going to the beta teams later today. So I'm going to discuss what that process looks like. Also going to discuss how you can get involved as one of my patrons as part of the open beta reading process, which is not just that core group that I normally work with, but a much broader audience. And then we'll talk about what comes next for me. What am I doing immediately, and what kind of projects am I looking at over the course of the next 4 to 5 months. So let's start at the start. The final words to the book were written down, and it's always a very emotional time for me. These books in particular, when you're talking about dealing with a history of Panos, which has given me so much success and has given so many people so much joy, and you're reaching back in time, and that's happening quite a bit with this particular book. The emotions roll pretty thick, so it was a good time. It was a good time finishing that particular novel, and A Falconer's Guide to Dying is some real quality work. Now what I'm doing, and what I've been doing for the past 3 days, is going through that manuscript and giving it a once over. Giving it a final polish, some final corrections. And I am literally 3 chapters away from finishing that, which should be done by this afternoon. This afternoon, I start handing it off to my beta readers. I just have one more beta reader to touch base with, and this is the closed beta. Now, after that is the open beta, and the open beta is probably about 3 weeks down the line, give or take. In approximately 3 weeks, I will be reaching out to, everyone who might be interested in this, and that includes, of course, my Patreon patrons. Now, if you want a part of this, my email address. Drop me a line. We will get you in there, okay? The other folks who are interested are my super fans from the mailing list, people who have shown a lot of involvement, people who have shown a lot of interest in stuff that I write. They are part of it, and they have already been sent copies of A Princess of Last Resort so that they can be up to date on this particular trilogy. So they're reading the first book. They should be done by now, but over the course of the next 2 weeks, they're going to confirm to me that they're finished, and then they get part of the beta process, a more general, kind of a more shotgun approach. That sound that you hear, by the way, is Loki, of course. Loki is playing with his little cat ball tree thing, and he's out to destroy the world, as always. Now, what happens next? After the closed beta, after the open beta, after all the corrections are coming in, because I don't touch it for the next 3 weeks or so I got to start working on something. What I'll start working on is Book 3 of the Ihi Saga, which is, the culmination of this particular arc. Now, the Ihi Saga doesn't work in trilogies, it just keeps going. But the culmination of this particular arc of the Ihi Saga, and the Ihi Saga has always been a passion project of mine. It doesn't sell as well as the Panos stuff. I don't know, I'm having a hard time advertising it. But once we get the third book out there, there are a lot more doors get opened as far as that particular genre are concerned. People want to see 3 books, particularly in urban fantasy / mythic fantasy. Once they see 3 books out there, they know you're serious. They know that there's going to be a body of work. So there's a lot of possibilities. Plus, those covers just got revamped. So there's a possibility of a huge re-release of Rhythm and Cadence, and then the third book, which will remain unnamed for the moment. I know the name, though. So that's what I'll be working on, but there is something in my pocket. And what I mean by that is Unbound, sadly, has declined to carry Mind of a Witness from its novella stage up to its full novel stage. And I understand. They feel that they don't have the right audience for that brand of kind of historical slash epic fantasy, and that's cool. And they were honest about it, and I appreciate that. So I'm looking at Indiegogo, and I'm looking to fund via Indiegogo, and they are one of the big ones. It's gonna be me competing against a guy with a new way to tie shoes. It's everyone, so it's hard to get noticed. So this very much is a shot in the dark. But I'm going to try an Indiegogo campaign. I should be launching that this weekend. Now, if that is successful, I will pause work on the third book of the Ihi saga and move into the novelization of Mind of a Witness. But that funding has to be successful. We're talking about 10,000 quid minimum. I am not taking partials on this. So, unless I hit that threshold, I'm not going to stop work on what I'm currently doing. This means I can't promise release dates just yet, but in 45 days, I will be able to give you more firm release dates as far as the other stuff. Of course, my patrons on Patreon, they're automatically qualified no matter which book I write next for a copy of the ebook, and depending on your level of support, physical copies of the books, etc., no matter which path I happen to follow. So there's that. That's about it for me, folks. It's going to be a nice weekend, if a cold weekend here in Belfast. I plan to do a lot of stuff with the crowdfunding. It's going to be a working weekend for me, so wish me luck. And we will catch you on the flip side. See ya.